If you're anything like me, then you've spent hours each week scrolling through property listings, wondering how you can afford your first home. But what if I told you that there are several tactics that can be used to wipe thousands of property asking prices? In fact, I use some of these same tactics to save over £75,000. When you're browsing property listings, the first thing you need to understand is that the asking price isn't an official valuation. 99% of these listings are valued by an estate agent and is simply a marketing price. Estate agents will naturally be biased towards the seller so they can inflate the valuation price so they can secure the selling rights to the property. Sellers can choose between hundreds of estate agents, so the agents are incentivized to inflate what they think they can sell the property for. Only once you have your offer accepted, your mortgage provider will officially value the property. A big mistake sellers and buyers make is that they see their listing price as a true valuation. Once you understand this, your mindset towards property listings will change. Look for homes that aren't move-in ready and require work done. Needing work is subjective to the buyer and can range from just needing a new lick of paint to needing a full renovation, including electrics, plastering, new kitchens or a bathroom. The more work that needs doing, the more additional funds you'll need once you've secured the property. Properties that need a lot of work will normally sell for less than a similar sized property that is move-in ready. These properties will often sit on the market for longer as buyers are less confident of large projects due to the potential complexity and costs. If these properties have been on the market longer, then sellers are more likely to accept an offer below the asking price so you can secure it for under market value. But don't just go bidding on a load of properties that need work. It's still important that you not only view the property, but speak with several builders for quotes so you understand how much it'll cost to complete the works. The last thing you want to do is move into a home that costs way more to renovate than you can afford. When you're browsing through property sites, it's quite normal to filter by newest first so you can view the latest properties on the market. But if you're looking to secure a property under market value, then you should sort the listings from oldest to newest. Now stick with me here. The longer a property is on the market, the higher the chance the seller is going to accept an offer below the selling price. The average time it takes for a property to sell in the UK from listing to agreeing a sale is around 44 days. There can sometimes be issues with the property that causes it to be on the market for longer. Some can be serious, such as structural damage, or less serious, such as it requires cosmetic upgrades. So it's important that you still assess a property when you go on a viewing. It's human nature that once a property has been sat on the market for a few months, we seem to think that there's something wrong with it. So this starts a perpetual cycle that the property then sits on the market for even longer as more buyers assume the same thing. So if you see properties sat on the market for 2+ months, then keep an eye on them. The goal here is to find properties that have been on the market for a while but are yet to be reduced. Once they get reduced, you'll face stronger competition as other buyers will enter the race. To be able to secure properties under value, you'll need to know the market inside and out. You can do this in two ways. The first is easy because there's huge property portals like Zoopla and Rightmove, so you can see all the properties that are on the market in the exact areas that you want to buy in. Not only can you see what's available, but also what's recently sold in the area, so you know what the going rate is for very specific types of properties. With this info, you can have a very realistic price in your head. This can also go the other way, and you might discover that you really can't afford what you had in mind, so you can adjust your requirements. The second way you can research is by doing plenty of viewings. When you're on the property search, you really have to be out in the field, and there's only so much you can do on property websites. You'll realize that photos just don't compare to seeing a property in real life, and you'll find out what's important to you in a property and what your non-negotiables are. It's also crazy how a good photographer can take misleading property photos. It also gives you a better understanding of what you can get for your money. A great tip is to create a list of must-haves and amend this after your viewings. The property market moves so fast in the UK that we're scared to offer below the asking because we assume that there's always someone that will offer the asking price or above. Now don't just go bidding below asking price on any property, otherwise you'll not only be rejected, but you'll also annoy the seller and estate agent. If you are going in under the asking price, then you should also submit compelling justification to convince the seller. This could be that the property is in bad condition and needs a lot of investment for the renovation, or that similar properties in the area have sold at a lower price. So I hear you ask how much you should bid under the asking price. Ultimately, this depends on a lot of factors, but if you're simply looking for a property to live in, then you bid what you think the property is worth, and you'll know this from all the research that you've done. Sellers are incentivized to work with chain-free first-time buyers. This means the seller doesn't need to wait for you to sell your own property, and the transaction process is much quicker. A seller may be willing to accept a slightly lower offer if you're chain-free, but don't expect a crazy discount. But if you do end up paying the original listing price, it still puts you at an advantage against other buyers that are in a chain. An empty home means that the owner isn't generating any income from tenants, but they'll still be paying for maintenance costs and maybe even mortgage payments. Owners will want to sell these types of properties as quick as possible, so will be more receptive to offers. It's easy to get sucked into a bidding war, especially if your opening offer is rejected, but if your main aim is to secure a great price on a property, then you need to be prepared to walk away from a deal. If you do have to walk away from negotiations, then all is not lost. Keep checking the status of the property, as often it can go unsold for several months, so you can ask for your original offer to be reconsidered. Higher bids can often fall through if the bidders realise that they offered too high or can't secure financing, so the property ends up back on the market.